Okay, let's see here. I've got something written down here. It says, you mentioned that words always come to me late at night. You're a great writer, but evidently the writing bug hit you mostly at night. And I also noticed it hit you a lot in December. What's all of that about?
Yeah, I don't know. I noticed that too when I got to writing. It was always July or December because I always dated songs as I wrote them, and I finished them up in my book. And I would write that date on it, usually a time of day even. And then at night, I think it was because things were quiet. The day was in, you kind of let down, you don't have anything else on your mind, and you kind of let those flow. Whatever's been building up in your mind over that day, then it comes out. And so it would always be after dark was when I usually would write songs. And why though at Christmas, with December, I don't know if it's because I was in a more festive mood. I was in a more emotional place. I don't know, but it did seem like a lot of songs came in December.
Yeah. Well, I'm glad I'm happy that we have the months of July and December, or we wouldn't have had hardly any Statler Brothers songs.
That's exactly right. And July was always a vacation month for us. So I was writing during vacation, what I was doing.
Well, speaking of December, my all-time favorite Christmas song is Beautiful Star of Bethlehem.
Yeah. Oh.
And my second favorite is Who Do You Think?
Oh.
What a song, Don.
Thank you. Thank you so much. Harold and I wanted to write a Christmas song, biblical song, without necessarily making it a Christmas song. Without, none of the jingle bells and none of even the little instruments that would make it sound like a Christmas song. Just a historical telling the story. But we wanted to write it from the angle of someone who didn't believe. Who do you think would believe such a thing?
Yeah.
So when you tell this fantastic story of a virgin birth in a stable and then a star moving around in heaven, who could possibly believe such a thing? Well, here's hoping to heaven that you do.
Yeah.
And that that was it was a different angle, and it worked.
And recorded by many gospel groups. I mean, I know the Greens did, Kingdom Heirs, a bunch of groups have recorded that song.
Yeah.
McCain, I think, and I can go on and on.
Yeah, they sure did.
Yeah, great song. Doesn't beat Beautiful Star of Bethlehem, but it's pretty close.
You're right. I won't even compete with them. I just love that song.
Yeah, I do too.
It seems like every bluegrass group winds up doing Beautiful Star of Bethlehem, but I like it when and that's great. I like bluegrass, but it seems like more groups ought to do it too, more Southern gospel groups.
Well, I tell you what, my little old quartet got a cut on it that's pretty good. Matter of fact, it gets played on XM and all, the satellite stuff, and I'll have to send it to you.
Please do. I'd love to hear.
It's quartet, man. It's 4 parts. Well, let's see. Okay, something that caught me too. I don't think, and you're going to correct me here if I'm wrong, that you had somebody featured on a Statler Brothers song that wasn't a Statler, except for it was his name, Joe McDorman.
Joe McDorman. Yeah.
Yeah. What was that all about? A non-Statler singing on a Statler Brothers album.
Joe started the whole thing. He started this group. He started the Statler Brothers.
Okay.
Back before we ever had that name. In high school, he came up with, he needed some special music for his church one night. So he started gathering a quartet, putting a quartet together. He called Lew called Harold called Phil. And that was the singing group. And I was just a kid. I was like 6 years younger than all of them were. And so they sang for years under the name of the Kingsmen and the Four Star Quartet. But then Joe got into the construction business and very successful. He's still down in Tennessee, and a very successful businessman. And then when I came along, I took his place, and then that's when things started happening. We got with Cash and et cetera. So we just had this. We wanted to do an album called The Originals. We had a lot of original things on the album. And he said, "Well, let's get the original guy in here," and he sang "Little Talk with Jesus" with us.
Yeah. That surprised me. A non-Statler having a feature on a Statler Brother record. Now, did that happen on any other songs?
No, just
That's
that one.
Okay.
Because that was the first song that they ever sang together as a group. Why? It was the original song they sang that night at this little country church.
Well, tell your boys to send me his email address or something, because I want to take him out to lunch or supper and thank him for starting the Statler Brothers.
I'll tell him. I will. I'm in touch with Joe quite often, so yeah, I'll tell him. He would love that. He's a big gospel fan.
And he's from Gallatin, Tennessee, right?
I think where he's living now, yeah.
Okay, yeah.
He's live from up here where we are, yeah.
I live 30 minutes from there, and I'm in Gallatin recording studios every week, so I could easily
right?
take
We'll put you all in touch.
Yeah,
All right.
Okay, you mentioned the Star Spangled Banner. You've sung at all the major league and football and baseball and all of the stadiums, and of course you did Americana so well, and it was sung throughout your entire career. And this is going to be a bit of a political question, so if you don't want to answer it, we'll go on to the next one. I don't want to get bogged down in politics, but I read that and I thought, boy, the Star Spangled Banner, and I've heard you all do it in person. I've heard it on the recordings. I got to thinking, I wonder if they would even allow you to do that in sports today. What's your take on what's going on with the flag and the Star Spangled Banner, especially in sports today?
Yeah. In our time, we were able to be patriotic without being political.
Yeah.
And I wish that were true today. I'm not sure that it's even possible for people to do that.
Very true.
But there is a difference in those two words and the meaning of what that's all about. And I wish people would continue or get back to recognizing there is patriotism and then there is politics.
Yes.
And they don't necessarily always have to bump heads.
That's true. Well said. Well said. Well said. I'm glad I asked. That's a good answer. Let's talk about how you all chose your songs to record. I loved it. It was so simple. I mean, it was as simple could get. Tell the folks how you all chose your songs for each album.
As democratic as it was, we voted on them, is what we did. We would sit and we would get say 20 songs laid out for an album. We'd listen to them, things we'd written, things we'd found, and then we would start voting on them, and we would give each song 1, 2, 3, or 4 stars. Each one was set there, and then we would add those stars up at the end. And if a song with 16 stars meant that we all 4 had given them a 4-star, and that's it goes on the album. Yeah. And then those are they are, and then the next one down, whatever a 15-star was, and we do that. And that's how we'd take the top songs, and that would be our album. That way, everybody got an even vote, all 4 of us.
I sent a text to Jimmy Fortune a couple days ago, because you put in the book one of your voting tally things that's in the book, and one of them had to do with the album that Elizabeth was on. And I looked at that, and I'm looking at it, and I think you gave it a 4. I think Harold gave it a 4. Phil gave it a 3.5, and Jimmy gave his own song 2.5.
2.5. Can you believe that?
I sent him a text. I said, Jimmy, really? 2.5 stars? So he knew what I was talking about.
He was being modest. Jimmy is anyway.
Yeah. Because that's a 4-star song, man.
Oh, it's a 4-star song. We do that from the first day on. Yeah, absolutely.
Yeah.
He didn't write anything but 4-star songs. I love it.
Yeah. As an aside, I love Jimmy Fortune, man. We get to hang out frequently, and I've you won't remember this, but I don't know, it's probably been 10 years ago or so.
You were playing piano.
I was playing piano with him. Yeah.
With Jimmy, I do remember that when you were here in Stanton.
Yeah.
Exactly.
And he's just. Man, he's a prince of a guy. Prince.
Yeah, he is that. Yeah.
On top of being uber talented, man. Good night.
Yeah. Man, he's the best. You don't get any better than that.
Yeah.
When he opens his mouth, it's all honesty with him.
Yeah. Well, talk to us about another guy in your career that was, I don't know, probably the top rung of the ladder, Jerry Kennedy.
Oh. The whole book is dedicated to Jerry Kennedy, if you'll notice.
Yeah.
This guy opened up a world of creativity for the Statlers. When we were at Columbia Records, our first 5 years in the business back in the 60s, he would come over. He was one of the pickers on the session, and we got to like him. We liked what he did. We liked him. And when it came time for us to move on from Columbia, we said, we need to look this guy up because he was head of Mercury. And so we just walked across the street and said, Jerry, you got any place for us over here? And he said, yeah, but you're going to have to do your own music because I don't have time to look for songs. And we said, hey, that's what we want. We got 3 writers in the group. We'll take care of the songs. And he gave us the total freedom. We'd go in there and record the way we wanted, what we wanted, and then we'd leave town and he'd put his little polishing touches on it and make it. He was a producer extraordinaire. He knew how to handle artists. He knew what to get from them. I mean, here was a guy, he was doing Roger at the time, Roger Miller and Tom T. Hall and Jerry Lee Lewis and the Statlers. And he knew how to get the best out of people by letting them be themselves. I can't say enough about Jerry. He's still a wonderful friend. We talk on the phone all the time.
Yeah, yeah. What about, we talked about Jimmy a second ago. That transition between Lew DeWitt and Jimmy Fortune, that had to be one stressful time in your all's life because Lew was there from day one.
He was, and it was a rough time. We didn't know what was going to happen until we found Jimmy, and then we had 100% confidence in him and what he could do, but we still had to make that transition. But he came in, and it goes back to this word a while ago, last we talked about likability.
Yeah.
Jimmy just oozes with likability. And when he walked on that stage and smiled at those people and they could just see his heart before they ever heard his voice, it made it so much easier because everybody loved him from day one, including us. And he just won everybody over. And it was such a much easier job than we thought it was going to be. Transit. And he works the best, the quickest learner I've ever seen when it comes to music. You've worked with him, Oh yeah. I mean, he learned lyric or arrangement, whatever, just like that. He's got
it is incredible.
Yeah.
Lew had such a unique sound to his tenor vocal. I was kind of nervous for you living it from a different point of view as a fan as you were going through that. And then I was thinking, well, I don't know about this. I don't know about this Jimmy Fortune or anybody else you could put in there because Lew was such a unique tenor. But it worked.
And you know what he did? He had a sound and a style. And Jimmy never tried to imitate his sound or style. He just did the same notes, but with his way.
Yeah.
And I think that might have been the magic to it all, because if somebody had come in and tried to sound like Lew, then people would say, oh, I don't know.
Yeah.
But Jimmy, he didn't try, he just was himself.
Yeah.
And he gave us a little different angle on a lot of things. I think we sang songs to some of the same songs differently with Jimmy than we did with Lew.
Yeah, yeah.
We just approached him differently.
Well, I was nervous for you, but after I heard the first song, I wasn't nearly as nervous after that.
That's right. We felt the same way.